Welcome to Simplify Your Retirement with certified financial planner Stephen Stricklin from Wise Wealth LLC. In this podcast, we help individuals and couples plan for a peaceful and enjoyable retirement. Join us on this journey where we explore the importance of simplifying the retirement planning process, as Stephen, with his years of experience and expertise in retirement income planning, along with guest experts, will help you achieve first wisdom, then wealth. And don't forget to check out the Simplify Your Retirement online course and other great resources at simplifyyourretirement.com. Now, on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to Simplify Your Retirement with Stephen Stricklin from Wise Wealth. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Paul.
I know we're wrapping up a couple things here. We've been talking about the Wise Wealth mission statement, kind of broken down into three parts. But for those who are listening, let's give them a refresher. And for those who are new to the show, you want to tell them what the mission statement is and what we're talking about.
Absolutely. So this has been exciting, really, to talk through season 3 about the mission of Wise Wealth. And the mission, for those of you who don't know it by now, for those of you who have been faithful listeners to the podcast, hopefully you've got this down. But those of you joining us perhaps for the first time today, the mission of Wise Wealth is to guide investors on the path to financial significance, where they are free to give and to serve and to enjoy life like never before. And I would encourage people to go back and listen to the first couple episodes of this season, because really we explain every word of that mission statement. And those of in the audience who know who we are know that we don't say words accidentally. Mostly there's a purpose and a reason behind the words that we choose. And I would say that mission statement, every word is chosen carefully. And so, we believe that people ought to be free to give and to serve and to enjoy life. We think that's the reason why we all come to work every day. That's the reason why we want to help people as much as we can to get them to that place. But we also believe that this is the proper motivation for work to be free to give and serve and enjoy life. We also believe it's the proper motivation for retirement. Why should people retire? So they're more free to give and to serve and enjoy life. So it's really applicable and relevant, to this podcast. Someone may wonder, why are you talking about the Wise Wealth mission statement? Well, because it has everything to do with retirement planning. It has everything to do with why we work and save to get to a place where we can do these things.
That's right. And we've been working through that. We break it down into 3 main words. Obviously, the first 2 are real simple: give and serve. How would you classify enjoy life in one word?
Absolutely. Well, enjoying life is really about, and it's a different answer for everyone, I would say. So you want one word, and you're probably looking for the word live. I don't know. So we try to make it simple, and we say give, serve, live. And that's the easy way for people to remember give, serve, live. And so just like in the area of giving, it was exciting to, talk about giving. And in that context, we talked about, donor advised funds, and there's charitable giving, and there's giving of your time. And then also in the area of serving, they're serving by giving your time. They're serving by giving your expertise and experience on various boards and things like that. There's serving by just, helping the grandkids and maybe helping your kids by watching them. And so there's a lot of different ways to give. There's a lot of different ways to serve. And so therefore, there's also a lot of different ways to enjoy life. And that's the fun part about, what we get to do and help people get to retirement, is because we like to ask everybody, what does retirement look like to you? And I could ask that question and just, sit back for 30 minutes and just listen to what people's answer is, because that answer really is personal and it's different for everybody.
Yeah. And I'm excited about this section too. There's a lot of variety here. We're going to be talking to maybe someone who has traveled a lot. We're going to talk to a couple of clients that have different experiences as far as how they're enjoying retirement. Right. And we're going to talk to someone a little bit younger, I believe, right? Who's talking more about lifestyle, creating that lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, all these things, in each category of our, season 3 here, we've had great guests. We've talked about the topic of giving and serving, generally, and we brought on guest subject matter experts in each area. We've talked to some of our clients, which has been exciting, some of our team members who are involved in each of these categories. And this section on enjoying life will be no different. As we start talking about enjoying life, we have a special guest on today's show. Next week, we'll have some of our clients on that show. And then following that, one of our team members. So I'm excited to talk about the topic that everyone loves to talk about, and that is enjoying life. You know, some of our audience knows that mission statement came from the Bible in 1 Timothy 6. And one of the things that excited me about when I was reading that, it literally says in there that God has given us richly all things to enjoy. So if you think about that for a minute, that's an awesome thing. God wants us to enjoy life. You know, yes, there's work and there's trouble, and sometimes there's heartache, and sometimes there's good times, bad times, but he wants us to be able to enjoy this life. So helping people get to the place where they can have freedom to do that is exciting, you know, for us here. And we like being able to help people do that. And like I mentioned before, what does that mean? That means something different to everybody, and we know that. And so we want to highlight a couple of areas, like you just said, of different of our clients and people that show how they enjoy life differently. Some people want to stay home. They built their dream home, and they want to sit in the backyard and you listen to the birds and enjoy their land, and that's how they enjoy life. Some people want to get out of town. They've been working 9 to 5 for 40 hours a week for 40 years, and they just want to finally leave and go do stuff. So like everything else, in the area of giving and serving, there's no right or wrong answer. You should just do it. You know what I mean? Same thing with enjoying life. There's no right or wrong answer, whatever you enjoy. Some people love going to the theater. Some people love going to sporting events, you know, but the point is, let's find out what you enjoy and try to get you to do more of that.
Yeah, and it can be more than just one thing, too, because I've seen some people where all three of these intersect in one place, giving, serving, and living, all in the same activity, which is fantastic to see. But that doesn't mean they don't enjoy other things, too.
Right, exactly. So you get to retirement, and now what? What do we do now? Well, hopefully you'll get to experience all three of these things, giving and serving and enjoying life. So as we start on our focus on enjoying life, I thought it'd be great to have on as a guest today Mark Comfort. Mark and Mimi Comfort are the owners of Cruise Holidays and Comfort Tours and Travel, and they're headquartered right here in Kansas City. And Mark has been a radio host of the show Vacation Views for many years, and many of you have probably heard his voice and his famous line, "You deserve a vacation." And it's something that certainly, you know, I remember hearing for the first time, and I thought, you know what, he's right. I do deserve a vacation. So I've always liked hearing him say that. And last summer, Mark was a guest speaker at our annual Wise Well Summer Education Series, and we're glad he's joined us in the podcast today. Mark, thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, Stephen and Paul, thank you for having me. And by the way, I'm enjoying life right now as you call me. I'm out at we have a second place second home in Copper Mountain, Colorado, and I'm looking right up the mountains in a very short period of time. Me and my family, my grandkids will be snow skiing here.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah, what a beautiful place. I've never been to the Copper Mountain, but I've heard it's a great place, really any time of the year.
Yes, my wife enjoys it more in summer, Stephen, than she does in winter, simply because it's, you know, an average of 68 to 72 degrees here at 10,000 feet above sea level, and about 3 to 5% humidity. So if you remember the summer we had quite a warm summer. So, but that's the cool thing, you know, because everybody has something, dreams of things they want to do to enjoy life in retirement and before retirement.
Right.
And that's what Mimi and I have had the pleasure of doing for literally hundreds of thousands of people in the last 32 years since we've started this business up. And it's been a blessing to help people's dreams come true and make memories that last a lifetime.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know that you call your the place that you have out there the Comfort Condo.
That's right. 4-bedroom place, Comfort Condo. People can check it out at comfortcondo.com. Hey, that was a shameless plug, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to help you out here.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Comfort Condo.
Well, we do rent it out.
Yeah.
And it is ski in, ski out for the people that enjoy
beautiful
snow skiing. Because, boy, to your point, Stephen, enjoying life is so different for so many people. But the one common denominator is it's going to take a little disposable income to be able to
Right.
do some of these trips and some of these vacations, talking about vacations specifically. So it is so important to save money when you can for the time that you are able to have the time, and then you have the money to do some of these vacations that we see people doing all the time.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And so, your obviously business and your industry, is vacation travel. And that's something that we know as, financial planners, that's one of the things that people, look forward to the most, being not having to worry about, hey, I only have a 2-week vacation, or I only have 3 weeks per year, and I've got to try to fit all these things in. So what do you believe about vacations as far as, what does it do for people's minds, bodies, emotions? Why is vacation good for people?
Well, I tell you what, I think that is one of the most important questions that you can ask, and that we ask, and that we understand to each of our clients. And very simply, these last 2 years basically have been some of the most negative times we have all ever lived in, right? Probably for most of us, it is the most negative time we've all lived in. Well, when you're around negativity, when you watch and hear negativity on the TV, on the radio, so much, and you just can't believe how it seeps into your being, into your mind. And the beautiful thing about a vacation is it gets you out of that normal setting that you're in. And just like this trip to Copper Mountain, Colorado, and we come out here so much because, Stephen, you know what it's like when you're in the business world and you're working and you hear things that are so negative. You hear some that are positive, but it seems like the negatives stay with you. Well, one way or another, and especially when you care about people, which I know you do,
Yes.
and I can sure tell you this, Mimi and I and our staff do. But when you get to a vacation place like this, it's just amazing how your head clears, your mind clears, your soul clears.
Yeah.
And instead of that negativity that has permeated your being, you've got this positive attitude about life, and you're just, I think, a better, happier person. And we see it happen all the time. But we've seen it happen more and more in the last 2 years because people have not been able to vacation, and because they've been around, or at least international vacations, outside of all-inclusive resorts, but they still have had all that negativity in life. So I'm with you 100%. You sometimes just have to get away to recharge the battery. You have to get away to rekindle a relationship, and you have to get away to relax and enjoy, and sometimes, get back into some activity to recharge the battery and to rekindle everything within you.
Absolutely, Mark. That was outstanding. I mean, I don't think I could have said that better myself. And I think you nailed it, and you hit a nerve, with me here and probably the audience as well. It's like, you're right. It does feel like the last couple of years, it's just been, people have been anxious. People have been stressed. They have been agitated. You use all these words. And one thing that is a cure for a lot of those things would be just to get away. And what do you think about, probably some of the best way to get away is not only just changing scenery and location, but also like unplugging, turning off the social media, go to a place where that's not dominating your heart and mind and thoughts. And now you can go out and see something and do something.
Stephen, that's going to be the future for vacations. Seriously, it is. We get trained in that all the time in our industry, that people, for their mental health and physical health, just need to unplug. They need to unplug. Yep. We're seeing this now. I plead guilty to that. I'm somewhat of a workaholic, and I plead guilty to that. And, my wife and I, this is our happy place out here. And we've found a good combination or blend of being active and leaving our phones behind us,
Good.
and relaxing and rekindling and recharging. And I think that's the goal people have.
Yeah.
We had, for many years, called our salespeople counselors because we'd have to counsel couples on what it was that they individually were looking for in their vacation. Now we call our salespeople advisors because there's so much advice that people need, just like in your field. There's so much advice they need to make the right decisions on that well-earned and much-needed vacation.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can see that the mindset changing for people, not just wanting to go somewhere that's great, but also talking to an advisor like you and your group to say what is out there, what's available, what's the best place to go, like you said, for a romantic getaway. What's the best place to go to for families, and those kinds of things. So that's awesome. It definitely is relatable to what we do. Retirement looks different to husbands sometimes than to wives, and we want to make sure they're on the same page. And you're doing that the same with vacations. So I guess there's specific places you might say, maybe for singles, and maybe there's certain activities or types of vacations that are great for families with kids. Some that are great for couples. Some that are great for retirees. Do you guys get that specific on? Hey, if you're a single, if you're a couple, if you're just a retiree, if you have families, we have things you should look at based on the stage of life you're in, I guess.
Well, Stephen, 100% correct. Listen, every individual we work with is a unique situation, and their wants, needs, and desires are uniquely different from anybody else we'll talk to. Mm-hmm. So our success has come from knowing from firsthand experience which, let's call them all-inclusive properties, which mm-hmm. ocean cruise ships, which river cruise ships, which destinations in the world will match up best with what they are looking for. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's really that simple. So the key is to ask enough questions to get, just like in your industry, mm-hmm. by the way, ask enough questions to get enough information to make the options available based on their budgets and their time constraints to find the perfect vacation for them. And you are so right. It's totally different. If I was working with a husband and wife that wanted to get away and recharge and rekindle,
yes,
than if I was working with that same husband and wife and their 3 kids
right.
of different ages.
Yep.
Totally different places we would recommend for them.
Okay.
And same way with that solo traveler. And by the way, the solo travelers, we call it, where mm-hmm. somebody's traveling by themselves, that market is growing just dramatically. And I'm so pleased when the solo traveler comes in and says, you know what, I don't have anybody to share this vacation with. It doesn't matter. I am going by myself and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yes.
And then we match them up with what is right for what they're looking for.
That's perfect.
So, and by the way, let's go back to the families, because you all know, anybody that's a parent out there or a grandparent knows that what you have to find for a toddler
right.
in a vacation option is totally different than what you have to find for a tween or a teenage kid.
Yes.
So it's a real important situation, because just like in the world of financial planning mm-hmm. that you guys are involved in, and I'm so pleased mm-hmm. when people understand that it is wise to invest in somebody that knows more than they do.
Right.
And that's the same way with us. If you come invest, because you're investing your time and you're investing dollars, hard-earned dollars, for a dream vacation that you want it to be exactly what you want it to be, or you want it to exceed your expectations. That's really what we want. We want to match people up with what's right for them, and their expectations are exceeded when they get back from their vacation.
That's awesome. And, there's exceeding expectations. And like you just mentioned there, a second ago, as you're talking, I'm thinking of experience. I mean, you want to talk to somebody that has experience with all these places, who knows the people and where to go and what to stay, where, and not a do-it-yourselfer, so obviously in our world too, there's do-it-yourselfers. They think they can go online and maybe choose their investments and the results speak for themselves. And that's a different, topic for a different show. You know what I mean? But it's the same here. We want people to come in and say, hey, I want a retirement plan. And you talk to someone who has experience of years of doing this in the business, experience of actually having satisfied client families over the years and that sort of things. And just like you have experience, and you have hundreds, like you said, and thousands of, satisfied clients that have taken you up on the offer to get help. And so I think that's a valuable resource. I think it's a valuable resource for people that are pre-retirees. But then, I don't know. I mean, you know this more than I do. I assume that people's vacations change after retirement than they do before. I don't know if people would take longer vacations, more, maybe more European things than when they had kids. Do you see retirement vacations change for people before they retire and after they retire?
Oh, 100%. It is just amazing. And by the way, you know what I tell people when they come in and they tell me they've just retired?
Yeah.
I say, I love retired people. They've made our business.
Yes.
And if you think about it, it's really true. When you're in the work world, in many cases, you're limited to the amount of time you have to take a vacation.
Right.
And when you're retired, that changes, and I'm talking about the time component. But this is when it's so exciting, when people have had the professional help and guidance in saving money and growing their wealth, so when they do retire, they can take that 2-week, 3-week dream vacation that they've always wanted to.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, in this past 2 years, I've seen more people, and most of them are retired, I will tell you that, that are booking longer vacations than ever before, that are booking better accommodations. You know, I have a new saying, and it's really somewhat true, is go ahead and spend your kids' inheritance on a vacation. It's okay. And then, by the way, the other saying I have that I believe 100% is go ahead and spend your kids' inheritance, but spend it with your kids.
Right.
So whatever it is, you owe it to yourself. If you've been disciplined enough to save money and that retirement time has come where you can go do that dream bucket list vacation that you've always dreamed about and create those memories truly that will last a lifetime.
Absolutely. You know, I heard a quote recently that says, if you don't spend all of your money, someone else will. So it's like one of these things, you know, I've heard different people speak. It's like, yeah, if you save all your money for throughout your entire retirement years, just so that you can give it all to your kids, they're the ones who are going to take the money and go on the dream vacations. So that is
100% right. So why not do it with them?
Right.
Or
that's right.
Do it yourself. You owe it to yourself. I really believe that.
Well, I agree with that totally. And I think, you know, most, kids, if you have aging parents or whatever the case may be, you'd rather them not give you the money. You'd rather go experience these things with them. And, because you can't get back the time. You can always do these things. So I'm all about investing back into your kids, grandkids, and making these memories instead of leaving them, $10,000, take them all on a $10,000 vacation and have that memory that will last, for all of their lifetime.
Boy, that is so true, you guys. And to share a story with you on how I live by what I preach to my customer base or on my radio show, this past June, I got so frustrated at the world shutting down and us not being able to go to some of these places. And I found out, actually my daughter helped me find out because she loves to plan vacations, that the Galapagos Islands down in Ecuador was open. The cruises were not going, but the land-based trips were going. So we have two wonderful grandchildren. As I like to say, my favorite grandson, Chavi Cruz, who's 8, and he just turned 9, and then my favorite granddaughter, Ariella Marie, who is 6. So we took the whole family, my son, his fiance, my daughter, her husband, the 2 grandkids, and we went to the Galapagos Islands for 8 days and had the time of our life. And by the way, you guys, nobody was there but us, it seemed like. So we had the best service we could ever have.
That's
and
awesome.
I want to tell you, those memories of that trip for all 8 of us will stay with us till the day we die.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. And that really is the point of, what we're talking about in the show today, even this section on enjoying life and even part of our mission. We want people to be able to do just that instead of giving, eventually you can give your kids, the assets, things like that, but give them these kinds of memories, spend the money on doing those kinds of things and enjoying that. So that's incredible, Mark. Just in the time that we have left, I am wondering about some of your favorites. I know you have a bucket list of places. If somebody, you mentioned the Galapagos Islands, if you could put something out there to the audience and say, look, if you can only go to 3 places or 3 experiences in the world or anything like that, it doesn't have to be 3, what comes to your mind?
Well, I divide that into 4 categories. One is history, because I'm a history buff, so I love ancient history. And the Nile River in Egypt, which I'm doing in February with almost 80 people again. That's the best place in the entire world for history. So that would be my answer to them. Okay. Wildlife, an African safari or the Galapagos Islands, depending on what kind of wildlife you want. I've done 4 African safaris, and they have been truly on the top of my list. Scenery is another category, and there are some of the most beautiful places in the world that I've been to, like the North Cape of Norway. But Alaska, right here in our own country, is one of the prettiest places in the whole world. Wow. And then culture. Culture is getting to be a big deal. Going down the Amazon River that I took my family on a few years back, actually about 20 years back, and believe it or not, a river cruise on the Mekong River, and China and India that I did river cruises on. Those were cultural experiences as well as historic experiences. It was just tremendous. So, what I always tell people is I'm going to tell you what my favorite experiences are. They might not be yours. So what we do at our company is we'll match you up with what you're looking for to help make that special experience. But I would tell you this, put an African safari on your bucket list. You will. Yes. Everybody that goes there, it's like the best vacation they've ever had.
That's awesome.
Expensive, but fabulous.
That's an expensive one. I actually had been on one in my life, and just to actually see these animals you've always either dreamed about or saw them in the zoo, to actually see them out in real life. From a safe coach or van or something like that is always it's always amazing. But I really appreciate it, Mark. Outstanding information. Cruise holidays, comfort tours in travel. You can find them. You can look them up online, Mark and Meet Me Comfort. And we appreciate the information you gave to us today. I really like the breakdown of finding which trips you want to go on based on if it's culture, history, scenery, or wildlife. I'd like our audience to give some thought to that and see which one is going to be most interesting to you. And I really appreciate that, Mark. Everyone deserves a vacation. Yeah, we appreciate you being on the show with us today.
Well, Stephen and Paul, you too deserve a great vacation, and I appreciate so much what you do for all your clients, because your expertise gives them the opportunity to gain wealth and to gain enough money saved that they can go do one of these dream bucket list vacations. So keep on doing that good work, and I'm a great big believer in giving and in enjoying life.
Thanks so much,
thank
Mark.
you guys very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah,
Paul?
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Stephen. Always love having the guests on. You bring on such great guests, and I know it provides a lot of value for all our listeners. I'm sure the wheels are turning in anyone who's listening to this right now, turning in their heads about where they might go. I mean, I know I have things in my mind right now where I want to go.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I did want to mention, you hate to go through a whole show and not mention our website either, but people can find out more information about us at wisewealth.com, just wisewealth.com.
Absolutely. So again, thank you, Mark, and thank you, Stephen. And of course, our last thank you goes to you, the listening audience. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for tuning into the Simplify Retirement Podcast with Stephen Stricklin. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, please click the subscribe now button below. This way, when Stephen comes out with a new podcast, it'll show up directly on your listening device. This also makes it much easier to share these podcasts with your friends and family. Share this one, get the juices flowing, maybe plan a trip together. And again, thank you so much for listening today. For everyone at Wise Wealth, this is Paul Brock reminding you that financial peace comes from having a plan. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Simplify Your Retirement podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Wise Wealth LLC or Simplify Your Retirement. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of a financial advisor or other qualified financial professionals with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.